Alright, so what I've got here is just kind of a soft apple green color glass, and then I've got a stencil. I've taped it down, and we're going to do another tinting of the white low fire no fire piping paste. Okay, so I've got some that's open here. I'm just going to use a paper plate to do my mixing on. And we're going to take out with your tool, spatula. I'm going to go in here. And use about a teaspoon of each for this size stencil. This is what I would say, probably an 8x8. I've picked out two colors. I'm thinking I might want to add another color. I've got LE003 Aqua Splash, and I've got CC152 Deep Cerulean, and I'm trying to decide, because remember you've got a soft apple color here. We could do a green, or do I want to add a purple into that mix? Let's add a purple. Let's add 136, or actually 137. It's more of a red. It's got more reds and blues in it, so I don't need quite as much of that one. Always keep, you can see my jar, I've scraped it down. Keep it scraped down so that you don't lose any of your product, because it will dry on the walls of the jar where it's thinner, and then once it's dry you cannot reconstitute it. So try to keep that clean as much as possible. Okay, so then always shake your color concentrate. Remember, these are a non-enamel. They come from the ceramic industry. We use them on our ceramics. And we're going to mix not more than 50-50. Remember, when you're adding to white, you're going to get a lighter version. So you're going to get a pastel. You're not going to get that dark. Not sure what that was. Okay, clean your tool off. Remember, the piping paste, it's a low fire, no fire. So if you don't fire it, it gets hard as a brick, and it doesn't want to come off of, you can saturate it in water or soak it in water and it will come off of it. So that was 137 Bright Violet. And then we're going to do the LE003 Aqua Splash. Then I'm going to use the CC152 Deep Cerulean. Now when you apply the paste through a stencil, you can use a brush, you can use a squeegee. It's really up to you on how you want to apply it. I'm going to put this one on, this is a new brush that we carry. It's a 1426 1-inch. It's a synthetic nylon. It's similar to our stencil brushes that we have. Same, except for this is in a round ferrule. This one is in the flat ferrule. All right. So, looks like I got something on there. Get all that off. Okay, so I'm gonna separate these two blues with the purple. So I'm gonna grab some of this guy and just start. You need to go in both directions, because if you don't, then I'm just gonna grab and maybe put some here. You're not gonna fill in the areas of the stencil if you don't go all your different directions, since we're not using a squeegee. And I'm going to put some more of that there. And some of these are going to overlap. Okay, so I'm going to grab the purple. And when they overlap, that's kind of cool, because then you kind of get a variegation from one color to the other. See, I'm just kind of blending it. Let's go grab the blue. Maybe add some of that over here on the edge. Kind of feather that in. I can come in and wipe the excess off of my brush, and then I can go back in. I've got a little bit of purple here. And I can add some of that. And when you go across multiple colors, you're going to pick up some of the other one that's underneath there. Okay. All right, so let's see what we got. Nice. Okay. Let me get this off of my fingers. Kind of cool. I think you can see that. I'm going to turn a light. That's going to cause a reflection, so let's just zoom in instead. Isn't that cool? So there's a lot you can do with it. There's some small areas here where some of the, you know, you've got tiny fine lines, so you may have to go back through when it dries, and you can scratch off anything that you don't want that's closed. But I piddled around with it, and I'm pleased with the definition that I got, considering how much I messed with it. All right. Very cool. So I will put a clear glass on the back side of this just to get my 6mm. And I may come in and do some brush strokes and mix up some more product to accent some areas. Okay, so what I'm going to do is put some GM300 glass medium in a paint well here so that I have it to clean my brush and to kind of coat my brush so that if for some reason I don't get my brush clean, the paste won't damage my brush. Okay, so I've mixed up some of the 152, some more of the same blue, again with the paste. Dampen my brush, blot my brush on paper towel. I am going to condition my brush, meaning I'm going to put some of that medium in there, and then I'm going to press out some of the excess before I go pick up some of it. And I'm just kind of loosening up, so it's mixing it so that it's a little easier to work with. Running out of space. All right, I'm just going to set it up here. All right, because we need to have that medium. So what I'm thinking is that I want to do a comma stroke there, just to kind of accent. Kind of plopping it on, press, pull, and lift. So I'm going to do that at the 4 points so that it's equal, to stay with the mandala, you know, where everything is equal. What you have on one side, put on the other side. Remember, you can always scratch off some as this dries. I'm going to pick up some of the medium and add it to my mix just to get it slightly thinner. You don't want to thin it down too much or you won't have the opaque or the solid coverage. But I just wanted it to kind of flow off my brush a little better. Okay, so then we can go every other one. So this is the 3600, no, excuse me, misspoke. This brush is the 2000-4KB for Kolinsky blend. So it's a number 4 round, and it's a blend of Kolinsky and synthetic hairs. All right, so, oh, I got one more. Right there. Remember, with this being a low fire and a no fire, it's going to dry out quickly, so you want to try to use it fairly quick. Alright, so then what I want to do is we're going to take like a dotting tool or a stylus. Could even do the handle of a brush if you wanted. Let's just do the handle of a brush. You want something that's going to have a good point. I'm going to try this and see if it works. So you can put it down, kind of shake some off, and then pull. So if you didn't have a brush, you could do your strokes like this. See how that makes a cute little comma stroke? So I'm just making sure there's quite a bit on the brush. Tap it off to get that round and then pull it in the direction that you want. That one was a little small. Okay, so I don't like that one. What am I going to do about it? I'm going to take the RD 66, I believe is the number. This is a wipeout tool. Yes, RD 66 wipeout tool that we carry. It looks like a candy kiss on the end. And I'm going to wipe it off. The glass, of course, is slick, so I can take that off, and then I'm going to get a Q-tip. I like these with the points, and I'm just going to clean that up just to make sure there's nothing on there, because the thinner the product is, it dries faster. Take a toothpick also. Okay. You can also just make dots with it, of course. Let me think. Let's see if we can get any dots with the tip of this. Depending on how heavy you have it loaded. It's got a fine tip, so it's still coming off. It's going to be very small and dainty, but I think it'll be nice to see how opaque it is. So you see, I don't have a whole lot on there. But because the paste is thicker, it's grabbing to the glass and allowing us to put that on there. Knocking stuff off. Fun. Clean that tool right away so the paste doesn't dry on there. Okay, so then we can take a larger handle if we wanted to make, like, here's a nice flat handle. And did you notice that I'm loading, well, especially for this, like for each time I dot, I'm kind of going to do a little swirl at the end because it has like a little peak or a point, and I don't want that to be where it's going to stand up and be rough. Of course, that would depend on how hot you go. I just got that over. I'm going to take another brush, dampen it with water, and just come back and clean that up a little bit. As long as you do it right away. I'm trying to get these little points or peaks off the top of there. I don't know that you can see that. But can you see how they have little points there? So I don't want that to stand up. So I'm just taking the tip of that and kind of softening that little, what I'm calling the peak, so it doesn't create a point that could be sharp. Clean that brush right away. So, I mean, I could mix up some of the other colors and continually just keep going and going, doing all kinds of things. You could put another smaller stencil in the corner. You may need to let the other dry, of course, because if you were to get into it, you're going to mess up what you've already done. I'm going to grab my liner brush. This is the 3600 number 2 liner brush. I've added some glass medium to my brush so I can thin that out just slightly. And I'm going to just put some comma strokes in the corner here. I feel like they were kind of naked. And then we'll probably need a dot on that corner. So how much product you have on the brush, how much pressure you put down will determine the size of that stroke. So your press, pull, lift, 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 and I'm slightly turning between my thumb and first finger to gather all the hairs back up and get to that point, especially with this thicker product. rinsed it. I'm going to rinse it in the medium also, just to make sure that it's clean. And then let's just grab a smaller one, handle brush. And I'm just loosening this up. It gets kind of stiff on the surface. And I'm going to add that dot. Ah, I knew I was going to do that. All right. I'm going to wipe that off. All right. You know, you could even add, but it's not equal. But if you had one color on there, you could even add dots on top of the other circles that you see there. We might do one in the center. And the reason I'm doing that is it kind of ties everything in. Okay. All right, well, I hope you like this project. It's fun. You don't have to know. You could just do dots. You don't have to do the stroke work. But I showed you how to do the strokes with the paintbrush. I had showed you how to do it with the bristles of the brush. So, I mean, there's, you know, different ways that you can do it. Now I just put some medium in this brush and I'm going to clean up this. I'm just kind of softening. I think I'll just wait and use a toothpick. Okay. All right. Fun project. The stencil that I used is from Temu. I don't have a number or anything on it, but if you just do a search for Mandella designs, I don't think these have any kind of numbering on them. I don't see anything. So I just went to the sink and put it down in the sink, sprayed it with my kitchen sprayer, and turned it over, did the other side, and I was good to go. Okay. But no, there is no indication of a numbering or anything. So there again is what it looks like. All right. Happy creating.